Got my coffee, sitting here watching YouTube, watching somebody else's channel while I'm talking to y'all on my channel. So what I usually do is keep my computer up and I put my picture up. Oh. Let me see. Well, today is Thursday. It is almost the weekend.
Well, today is Thursday.
It is. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Let me put my thumbnail in. We're going to talk about priorities today, y'all. Do you have your priorities where they should be? I'm filling out everything using my computer. That's why I keep moving the phone. And now it done spazzed. Let me start all over again, y'all. I was looking at a new channel I just found called Three Stylish Sisters in Our 70s. That's the first time I've seen that channel. So I got to go back and finish that. I'm trying, y'all, this thing. Oh, it did get my picture in, didn't it? Okay, let's change the title. Okay, let's see. Coffee with Grandma. Hey, Vita. How you doing? Good morning. Happy Thursday. Good morning. How's it going? Thanks for the thumbs up and heart. Got my coffee. I did plait my hair last night. I need to retwist my hair last night, y'all. So I'm just sitting here trying to talk to y'all. What you doing? I'm at my daughter's house. She had to go out of town for her. Oh, you going to school? Okay. Well, have fun in school. What year in school are you? Oh, wonderful. My title is Priorities. I think having your priorities in line, I think a lot of people struggle with that. Because a lot of times we want to do certain things, but there's things we should do. It's just like, say for instance, you want to go to Walmart, but you need to wash clothes. You got clothes in the washing machine, clothes in the dryer. So you need to take the clothes out of the dryer, fold those up, and put those away. But you need, but you got other loads that you need to do. No, it's not caramel. It's just breakfast blend, Food Line breakfast blend. But then you'll say, I can go to Walmart because those clothes will be here when I get back. And you know they will. But then when you come from Walmart, you'll sit down and say, I'm just so tired. We love to say, I don't know what to do. Good morning, Khadijah. I'm talking about priorities. I was saying a lot of time, we're trying to get our priorities in line because it's going to be cold after a while and you can't be, my mom used the word so late. You can't be so late and all out in town. I was just giving a scenario of your priorities. You need to go to Walmart. You got to do your laundry. You got clothes in the washing machine, clothes in the dryer, and other loads you need to do. But you'll say, I'll go to Walmart. I can wash those clothes anytime. They ain't going nowhere. And you know the clothes ain't going nowhere unless you move them. So you go to Walmart, you mess around in Walmart, get what you got to get and come home. You get home, you flop down in the chair. You say, goodbye, Vita. Have a nice day. And you get home, you say, I'm so tired, I don't know what to do. I'm going to lay down and take me a nap. I'll get the clothes after I take my nap. Well, your nap go over the hour or two that you set for a nap. Then you say, I forgot about these clothes that's staring me in my face. So what you do? You gonna start doing something else? Or you tackle those clothes that's been staring you in the face? Because they was all around laying on the floor in front of the washing machine. And you know how if you got a washing machine at home, you sort your clothes. You got a pile here that need bleach, some color fast clothes that don't need bleach. You might have a pile of rugs, bed linens, and stuff like that. You said, well, I'll get to it tomorrow. So you done put it off. Tomorrow come, you said, if I don't hurry up, I'm going to be late for work. Because yesterday was your day off, and you messed around and you didn't do nothing in your day off. So you said, well, I'll finish the clothes. And you know if you leave clothes in the washing machine, oh yeah, they have. They always on the job. And then you say, you look down, you leave clothes in the washing machine, then they get sour, you gotta wash them again. Now you're wasting water, you're wasting power, you're wasting detergent. Cause that load of clothes you washed again because it had sat in the washing machine, got sour and all funny smelling. You could have been washing one of the other loads that was down there. That's what I'm saying. Get your priorities in line. When you got things, wait a minute. When you got things that you need to do, don't put it off. What's the saying? Don't put off today for what you can, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. And that is so true. Because tomorrow there's other things you need to do. And you let these things pile up and pile up and pile up. Then next thing you know, you're overwhelmed because you got so much. It's like a little child. You take a little child to Walmart and they see all those toys. And they can't figure out which one they want, right? You just come on, little Johnny, pick one because I got to go. He don't know what he should pick. Well, he picked one thing. He said, I changed my mind. I want the other thing. You said, no, I'm not going back over there to that toy section. So little Johnny started crying. Don't you just hate to go Walmart when you hear all these babies crying? I'm like, Lord, why did I come to Walmart? Screaming children everywhere. So then, but there's always things we can do if we will get to it and do them. Just like I've been trying, I done my dining room. I put out my fall stuff in my dining room. Y'all got my dining room done. So in my kitchen, I'm gonna take the yellow I put the yellow curtains up during spring and summer. So I might put my apple picking curtains up. I'm hoping I find some more. I'm gonna redo the ones I made that sunflower, because when I made them, I didn't know what I was doing. So now I look at them, I know what I done wrong, and they're not bad to hang up. I made my stitching too small. I should have had longer stitches, and so I think I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them loose and redo them. So, but y'all know, for I've been wanting to decorate my kitchen with in the summertime with strawberry. There used to be, I don't know whether it's Falls Graph or who, that had some dishes one time that had strawberries in them. But Dollar Tree, all I know you get is the bumblebees and the lemons. They haven't had the apple. They haven't had strawberry. And maybe I got to Google it. If I can go to good, and there's a set, the green old fashioned, that's similar to the blue willow. I would love to find go in my kitchen. Cause I got Pyrex, the for everyday dishes, the crazy daisy. But I think I want to let all that Pyrex go and put something else. But I got so much of it, you know. I might just stack it up and put it on Marketplace, see anybody wanting to buy it. But when you got your priorities where they should be, it'll make your day go so smooth. Because when you do, you got A, B, and C you need to do. Well, when you do A, you can flow right into B, because you know what you got to do. But if you sit down and don't do nothing, then next thing you know, the walls closing in and you got mess coming from every direction. You got to wash the sheets on the bed. You got to wash your comforter. You got to mop the kitchen floor. You got to go back to Walmart. You gonna sit down. I've been starting to make an order on Temu, y'all, for a month. But I wait until laying down, relaxing in bed, watching TV. Hey, Mia. And soon I start looking at it, I get sleep. I put the tablet down and go to sleep. Good morning, Mia. How you doing? Happy Thursday. Khadija, you still here? Let's see. But yeah, get your priorities in order. Life will go smoother if you got your priorities in line, because you can get things done. And if you're a person that need to make a list, make a list. Say, I'm gonna make this list. I gotta start making lists, y'all. But like I said, I did get my dining room done. I think I'm gonna change the curtain in my living room, and I don't know what color I want to go with. I think I got a pair of burgundy I'm gonna put up, and I don't know if I'm gonna change the curtain back in the dining room or not. I got to change out. Oh, I got to change my bathroom. That's priority number one. because my bathroom got light blue tile on it, and my uh, stuff for the bathroom, light blue and yellow shower curtain with light blue rugs. And I got a curtain in there that's white with Battenberg lace. I got to take those down and wash those. Thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. Y'all, YouTube has changed it. They have changed. That's one of the priorities. You can put as your priority getting your channel monetized. And start making that YouTube money. Don't let Mr. Beast and all the other people make all the YouTube money. You have something you can offer to your community. Let your little light shine. Because you know, my saying, if somebody say I can't do something, I do it twice. Mm-hmm. So, my tummy started to hurt. Got to take great-grandson to his pre-K open house this evening. So that's one of my priorities. Thanks for the thumbs up. You know, there can always be something we need to do, whether male or female. And you know, there are things that the male usually take the road that women are finding themselves having to do, and vice versa. There are some things a woman do that a man find himself have to do it. Cause my third oldest son, he got two daughters. They out of school now, but when they was little, he was combing hair, making ponytails and everything. He was doing a better job. I'm not nothing on combing no little girl hair. I said, Lord, I sure think if I only give me one girl. And she learned how to do her own hair soon. Soon she got old enough she can do it, honey, I let her go for it. So, but get our priorities in line. Got up with my great-grandson, got him off. Anyway, but y'all, time is of the essence. If we don't start doing things, life pass us by, and you don't get but one life. So grab all the gusto you can get while you going around. I have a granddaughter who's an RN, and she's young. So she's gone. I think she just went to Disney or somewhere. She and her parents, they went on a cruise last month. So do things that you want to do while you're young. Cause when you get old like me, you don't feel like getting and doing all this stuff. If you flop down in a chair, you get up, get dressed, do your morning routine, and when you come, like here at my daughter's house, the bedrooms are upstairs, but when I'm home, my bedroom downstairs, so I don't have to go upstairs every day, 2 or 3 times a day. Cause going up the stairs wear you out, but it is good exercise now. So, I don't have to climb stairs, and I thank God I don't have to climb stairs. Most of my dressy clothes are up there, so I might have to go on Saturday, get my clothes ready for Sunday for church, something like that. So when I go up there, my sewing and craft room is up there. And so when I go up there, I make a day of it. I take me some water. Now, if I'm going to clean, I stay on up there and, change the bed linen. My oldest grandson, he was at the house a few weeks ago, so he spent the night. He did his style on making up the bed, but I went back up there and remade the bed because I think I might have changed the sheet on the bed. But then I wanted to put his room in a Western style. Only thing I got y'all is a lamp. A man standing by an amber lamp, like a like a lamp post with a horse. So I would love if I can find some curtains. It would have to be vintage because they don't make stuff like that no more. If I could find some curtains for that room, a better thing would be if I find a sheet and I could make the curtains from the sheet using my sewing machine. So in the other room, I don't know style I want to what style I want to put in the room. I'm had to open these blinds. So I don't know what I do to do. Lord, I'm knocking stuff down. Hold on a minute, y'all. I done knocked something down. I'm making a mess. Okay. My daughter got a plant in the window when I'm trying to open the curtain. The plant get hung in the curtain. Yeah, I got, like I said, there's always things we can do if we get up off our butt and do them. Cause that stuff not gonna jump up and say, I'm gonna do myself. The laundry is not, you're not gonna have a pair of jeans gonna jump up and do a karate kick and open the wash machine and throw clothes in there. No, if it do, run. Okay. Find the nearest exit. Okay. But when you do stuff and get your room all clean and it's smelling all good, you ain't got that funky smell in there no more from the most stinky shoes you wear to the gym. I seen no commercial where people say, PU, and they take the shoes and sit them out on the porch or somewhere. You don't have to go through that. Clean that room up, spray those shoes with some Lysol. You can sit them in the sun, that'll kill some germs. But when you clean up that room and you open the door and stand there and look, the bed is made up, the room is picked up, there's not any clothes. If you got a chair in your room, it's a catch-all. I know. I got a chair in my room, and I look sometimes my husband got clothes thrown across it. Now I might throw a pillow on it when I'm, the pillow sham that goes with the comforter. A lot of times that'll be laying over there. But then at my sewing machine, let me tell you something. I can't stand a chair with arms to the sewing machine. It hinders me. I can't move and try and do stuff with those arms in the way. So I traded the desk chair for another chair. So when I go home, I'm going to make me a list. I got to refresh the living room. I got to refresh the bathroom, get the colors changed for fall color, take the light colors down. And the den has been a work in progress for a while. That's a hard room for me to do because it's got 9 windows and do you know how much a pair of drape? I got the blackout curtains in there, but I don't like them. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. But anyway, but there are some things you can do. And I know sometimes it's hard because you get tired and you start doing something, ever start doing something and get sidetracked? I have. It is easy to get sidetracked. I'm looking at some of these headlines. When you put the computer up, all these headlines, I guess that's Google's. Halle Berry just celebrated her 60th birthday in style with sweet frosting inspiration. Fox News viewers break rank and defend CNN over Donald Trump's crabbing. Lord. Y'all know what? When you open Google up, hey there, my phone got hung, y'all. I'm sorry. Hey, Lewis, my phone got hung. Oh, thank you so much, Lewis. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're talking about having our priorities in line. Doing things so they won't pile up. But sometimes I got to admit, sometimes that's kind of hard. Sometimes you just feel like, you know what, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm tired. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to sit on this chair and watch some, whatever it is you like to watch. Uh, if you're a person that your family keeps saying, oh, make this and make that for dinner. And you're thinking, my family loves this certain dish. I need to go to the store and get the rest of the ingredients and make this, but you put it off, you put it out, you say, I don't feel like going to that store. I know when I need to go to Walmart, I dread going to Walmart. Uh-oh. Because usually Walmart don't have any cashiers, cash registers open. It get congested real fast. I don't know why they don't go and give people jobs. Why they don't go and give people jobs and open up some cash registers, let people get in and out. But now they won't do that. But anyway, got my cough. I done spilled some. I spilled some half and half this morning. So do you have your priorities in line? I think what happened when I get ready to put the cup down on the chair, my cup, I don't have it raised enough and I hit the side of the cup on the chair. I know when I go back home, I got a lot of things looking me right dead in the face. My husband do pretty good keeping house while I'm gone, I got to admit. But there's some things just need a little dab of touch here, a touch there. And y'all, I'm a Virgo. So I am a perfectionist at heart. If it has got to be right, You know, it got to be right. Ain't no half stepping. Keep going till the last detail is done. Who said, woo, I am so glad I tackled that. I've been all week trying to get this one thing done. Then you finally do it and you're like, I could have did this in the beginning and had the whole rest of my week free from having to do, you know, certain things. I want to have a yard sale before before the summer go away. And I told my husband, everything I put in the yard sale, I want cost $1. Because if you give people something they can get for $1, they'll stand there and buy it all day long. Let me see. My daughter gets some furniture um, delivered, and I don't want to miss them when they come. But anyway, get your priorities in line and just keep looking straight ahead. Sometimes things will get off course. Sometimes things are beyond your control. Like when my children growing up, I used the clothesline, especially in the summer. And that's another thing. When the summertime comes, Mama said, God send that wind and that sunshine. Put those clothes on that line. So I'll put the clothes on the line, which is good exercise because you're bending, reaching, bending, reaching, and that's good exercise. Like I said here at my daughter's place, the bedrooms are upstairs. So I try to bring everything I think I'm going to need downstairs when I come. Forgot my glass, got ready to come online, didn't know where my glass was. I said, oh, they're up there on the bed. So I go back upstairs to get my glasses. I've been going up and down them stairs this week, but it's good exercise, you know? So I ate some oatmeal for breakfast, having my coffee. When I get off, I'm gonna probably do nothing, sit here and watch some YouTube. I love when I ain't got nothing to do. Now sometimes I do. I do. I'm not one of those people who love to sit down on your laurels. No. I love to be doing something because I'm a fidget. That's why y'all see me, always doing this, messing with my clothes, making sure the sleeve is right and everything. I'm a fidget at heart. So I need to find something to do that my hands can keep busy all day. And when I'm home, my husband in the den, and I'm moving around. Sometimes I might have to go upstairs. It's not that often because I would love. I told my husband, let's take the back bedroom. All the children grown. No one comes to stay. Every now and then, my grandson and my great grandson come and spend the night. But that's only one bedroom. So I took one bedroom. I took one bedroom and made me a craft sewing room. And I got sewing machine galore. I think this is the side where all the glass come from. Yeah. So I thought about one time getting me a heat press, but I said no. I got a little handheld one, so if I get I got a little thing I want to put on a pocket. I ordered transfer from Timu. They showed the thing like it was gonna be big. That thing barely big enough to put on a pocket on a t-shirt. But hey, I can't complain. It was only like 99 cents. So we get things done. We won't have things hanging over our head. Cause like when the winter, if you do all that stuff when it's nice and warm, and you might have to be carrying things outside, maybe to the trash, or to you might, you know, store things in your garage out the way, out of season thing. So if you're going to get those things done when it turns cold, you ain't got to be flouncing in and out in the cold air. Get that stuff done. What they say, get her done? Get her done. Get her done. But I love when I do a project. You know, all I can say is, God, I thank you for giving me strength to be able to do thus and such. Because somebody woke up this morning and somebody else got to dress them. There might be somebody that woke up this morning that things are different when they woke up than what they was when they lay down and went to sleep. So we need to be thankful. So, you know, my little 4-year-old great-grandson, when you're running around behind a toddler, you better ask God to give you strength. Then when he give you that strength you're thanking for. Because talking about somebody weaving and bobbing, that's a toddler. You need all hands on deck. They can find things. I remember when I was a little girl, I had a few, you know, I got a whole lot of little cousins under me. But there was 3 cousins I can remember. And my grandma was always saying she would get something from. She said, where you get this from? Or they would find something. She said, I'm so glad you found this. She said, I've been looking for this for days. Tyler would find something you lost and didn't even know you lost it. Or they'll come up with something you say, I ain't seen this in about 2 weeks. Well, wherever it was, that toddler may have put it there. You know, something that, cause they use anything for play with to push as a car or a truck or something. Yeah. So when you're dealing with a toddler, last night, his mama drew his bath water. So he don't mind taking the bath, but he do not want you to brush them teeth. Okay, the water was ran in his bathtub full of toys. So I don't know when the playing stopped and the bathing began. So she flew the coop, went somewhere. He got out the tub. His tablet was in there. And I was so glad I was sitting on the edge of the bed. I saw him get out the tub. Thank you, God. He was going to take his tablet and go get back in the tub, y'all. Lord, I thank you. That baby could electrocute himself. Y'all, I thank God. Things could have been different the way I'm seeing them today because, okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my phone. It got hung for some reason. I don't know. It did it yesterday. It kicked me out yesterday. But I was saying when you're dealing with a toddler, ooh, if you don't have the energy and the strength, you better ask God, please give me the strength to. That's why I ain't mad at folks that it might have been YouTube because it did to me yesterday. So Lord, please give me strength to hang with this 4-year-old. And then he'll come out, he'll say stuff, and he asked me yesterday, where was the volcano? I said, probably over in Hawaii somewhere. He got just content and walked right on away. I rang, he said, you know, any answer better than none? Yeah, he come out and said, where's that volcano? What a 4-year-old know about a volcano, y'all? I know when I'm 4 years old, I didn't know about no volcano. I barely know about them now. But he would come up and ask you some stuff, and you're like, huh? Like the first time I was aware he knew what an excavator was. You know, they're always working on the road. And those that they are not working on, they need to work on them. And he saw caterpillar and he said, excavator. I said, what, baby? He said again, he watched some show. I don't forget what it's called. But they had a segment about an excavator and those big equipment that works on the road and works on the farm and stuff. So he got all that down pat. Then there was something else he mentioned I had never heard of before. So, but yeah, they got some nice programming on, they can get on YouTube. But be careful. He was watching one day that's supposed to be child friendly, and the people were cursing in it. By happen, I heard it and made him back up out of it. So I got it. So he don't go into that anymore. But a child don't know what's a bad word if you don't tell them. And some grown folks, the way they sling them around, don't know it either. Because some people just don't have the respect for their elders that you would think they have. I was going in Dollar Tree one day, because there's always somebody willing to hold the door open for you. But this one young man, if I had been a little closer, that door would have hit me right in the face. He didn't hold the door open. I said to myself, who in the world raised you, boy? But there was one young man. I was going to Roses or somewhere one day, and I was walking up with a young man. He said, "Oh, excuse me, ma'am, I'll get the door for you." You could have blew me away with a feather. I was not expecting that. He was a few steps behind me. "Excuse me, ma'am, I'll get the door for you." You can tell how people are raised by the way they act when they're in public. Because they might act one way when they're with mama, daddy, grandma, grandpa, but when they're out there and they do something like that, you say, somebody raised you right. But when they get out there, the F-bombs is flying, the words, they cursing like a sailor. They don't care who come up, whether it be a child or an old person. They still using the curse word. Who gonna call? Your mama call you and say, I'm just, the way the world is. First thing young people said, you just want to know where I'm going so you can get in my business. The way the world is now, honey, you need somebody to get in your business. But that's not what they're doing it for. They are trying to keep you safe. It's so much going on in this world. Somebody went out last night and didn't make it home today. They're either in the morgue or in the hospital fighting for their life. Because you know why? Because they went somewhere and there was somebody out there that didn't care anything about human life. So what kind of priority is that? Or somebody trying to steal or rob from you and they hit you over the head with a pew-pew or something and you black out. I used to hear mama saying about 90, when you fall, you see 99 stars like they do in the cartoons. Anything can happen while you out. I remember when I went to New York, I was 17, 18 years old. And me and some of my cousins, because I didn't know my way around, but I had cousins and stuff that had been up there for a long time. So they knew how to get about in the city and go. I didn't know anything. I'm from the country. I ain't know nothing about hailing a cab or getting on the subway or getting on the, the elevated train. And my first thing to do, I'm coming from the country, somebody said something to me, is get smart with them. Somebody said, "Oh, hey, mama, so and so and so." I said, "I ain't your mama." My aunt would tell me, say, "You better stop getting smart with people. You ain't down in the country no more." So I stopped doing that. When the men first start wearing the hair plait, and they used to take their head off and show you their plaits, their braids or whatever. And I'd be like, you a man, why you got your hair plait up? Said that ain't none of your business. See, I didn't have my priorities in line. I'm trying to get into somebody. That's what you call getting in your business. But when I leave home, or when my husband leave home, like if I'm going to Walmart, I say, I'm going to the store. I got to stop at Walmart. Because, if I go to Walmart and maybe Roses and I come back And Piggly Wiggly is the last place I go because if I buy something that needs to be refrigerated, I don't have to worry about it sitting out in the car and the heat and bacteria growing in it, you know. And I say, I'm going this place or that place. When he goes somewhere, he say, I'll be right back. I'm going to the store. Or I'm going to O'Reilly's because he got a project car he working on and he, you know, trying to get things right with it. He'll say, I'm going to O'Reilly's. Or I'm going to Walmart. Something like that. Because he loves those Pink Ladies apple and Walmart is the only place in town that he can get them. So he's always, and y'all know but 7 apples come in that bag. We paying for most of the air and the chips and all that stuff. But anyway, people are not wanting you to tell them your whereabouts, trying to, you might say they're trying to keep up with me. No, we're trying to keep you safe. We don't experience all this stuff in life. Now the world has gotten much worse than it was when I grew up and I was a teenager. I wouldn't dare take my 17 or 18-year-old self and drop it in New York today. No, I wouldn't. I sure would. But honey, you live and learn. Now they're not teaching children to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, yes, sir, and no, sir. That is respect. Teach your child to do that. I don't care how the world look on your child because they're saying that. When I served in this high school a year or so ago, I had a few students that would say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. One young man did it, he was talking and he was very respectful. I said, baby, I sure do appreciate you the way, I told him I appreciate his tone and the way he was speaking and everything else. Because you don't hear that like say, if I don't do it and my mama or my daddy hear about it, it won't turn out so well. Even the young man in church, my little nephew, we call him Buddy. And he'll say, yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. I come here, buddy, give me a hug. You are so sweet. You're saying yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. He said, my papa will get me if I don't. See, that's the way you do. When you got that respect and people know you're respectful, they can look at you differently. You don't want them to say, oh, there come old Johnny. All he do is lie. All he do is steal, hide. If you got anything worth anything, you better put it in your pocket. Let me tell you, I had a brother, God rest his soul. His nickname was Fruitcake. Now, he didn't take nothing. He was for his family. He would always try to keep us safe. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. It's more males in my family than females. All those males are always trying to keep us females safe. I had a cousin. He's gone on to glory too. God rest his soul. He would always ask me, how you doing? And he would say, ain't nobody effing with you, is it? I said, no, I'm doing fine. He said, that's right, no, because anybody messing with you, he said, I'm going and get them. But they always want to make sure the females in the family were safe. When we got ready to go somewhere, if there wasn't an older male or a male that might have been a little more mature than us, my grandma would say, you can't go. But now the girls flounce off where they want to all by themselves and soleating out here and everything. We couldn't do that when I was coming up. There had to be someone with you because you don't know what people do these days. And you can't put anything past them because anything goes now. And they talking about that R word, and how some people look at your skin color a different way than they look at the other one. Yeah, it was kind of like that when I grew up because things now, the more they change, the more they say the same. Y'all heard that. But we stayed in our own lane. We didn't go out and rub, we didn't rub elbows with, you know what I mean, the YT people. So we was, it was a lot of us. So wherever we went, there's a lot of cousins and, friends or family and stuff there. So, we knew what we were dealing with. But my brother, The one I told you named Fruitcake, and he got that name because Mama said she went to a fruit stand that had some nice juicy strawberries. And she said she was pregnant with my brother. She wanted a strawberry. Well, when she wanted it, you know how you go to the store and you want to see if a grape is sweet, so you'll pop off a grape, put it in your mouth and eat it. No, these ain't sweet. Well, somebody was coming and she said she grabbed a strawberry, a small one, and popped it in her mouth, was gonna eat it, but somebody was talking to her and it just stayed on her tongue for a while before she could chew it, eat it up. Well, when he was born, he had a strawberry on his tongue. You can ask anybody in the family that knew him. That's how he got the name Fruitcake. Don't get it twisted, okay? All right. He didn't graduate from school, not because he couldn't, because he was very intelligent. He got expelled so many times he refused to go back. He stayed in so many fights. He would get suspended, stuff like that, smoking behind some piece of equipment or something, and get expelled from school for smoking. Because back then, if you were found to be a person that would smoke, because you couldn't do that. But now, honey, all they want is to put a cigarette or something in between. I think it looks so unsightly. You pass by a car and you look over at the other car, there's a woman sitting there with a cigarette hanging out her mouth. Oh, no disrespect to anybody that do it, but I says for me, I don't think that look, that's not a very ladylike look. I love, for me, now this is for me, whatever you do is your business. I like to have things that look ladylike. I love being a girl, a female. I don't want my hoo-ha hanging out my clothes. I want, when I go out, I don't care if I just got on jeans and a t-shirt. I want to have on a belt. Now I came here and forgot my belt, so I don't have on a belt today. But, I want to have myself together. I want to have it together. I don't want to go out looking every kind of way mama can say. Because over here, as for me in my house, there is no half stepping. Somebody made a song. Ain't no half stepping. Ain't no half stepping over here. I'm going to do it. Like I said, I'm a Virgo, so I am a perfectionist. I hope this thing ain't got hung again. No, it's not hung. So I am a perfectionist. I like to do things right the first time, so I don't have to come back. And you ever seen children, you tell them to wash dishes and you go inspect them, the food still stuck up with, the plates and stuff still got food and stuff on them, but they haven't washed it real good. And you say, you got to go back. And you tell them when you clean out the kitchen, that means wiping the stove down or washing the stove down, wiping the table off, placing, some people might have something in the center of their table, salt and pepper, sugar, whatever. I got a Lazy Susan on mine, so I want to make sure that's in the middle of the table. The table got to get washed off. Last thing you're going to do is sweep that floor. I knew when I grew up. Now, sometimes when I was growing up, when I would go home, a lot of times I would have to cook because my dad was on the truck. And, a lot of times mama might have been working in somebody's house, and I knew when she got home, she would be tired. So I would come home from school, get my brother and sister to do their homework, and I would go in the kitchen and start cooking something. Whatever mama had in there, I would start cooking it. So that's where I was. My kids came up. No going out and play till you do your homework. You don't have any homework, you're going to read something there. Because reading will broaden your horizons. You learn different words when you read. Or read about different cultures. Now with them taking so many things out of our schools, get the book so the children can learn about Jim Crow, Sojourner Truth, what they pushing on them now. is Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. That might be all they get to learn about, right? But if you get those books, you can learn about that. You can teach them, and reading is fundamental, y'all. Don't let nobody change your mind. If you got a child that loves to read, keep buying that child book. And buy books on different subjects. Sometimes when I go to the thrift store, I go stand to the books and look and go through them and everything. So don't stop pushing books on children. When I was talking about wanting to know where people are, I had an aunt. She was going to the club with some of my younger cousins and stuff. Well, one night she didn't come home because she had her husband to drop her and her two nieces off at this place, right? And I think when the husband, wherever he went, he was gonna stop by on the way back and pick them up. Well, he couldn't find them, y'all, and he was riding up and down. Honey, my aunt was found laying in a field. Yes, she was found laying in a field where she had got hit in the head and unalived. hmm My two cousins, one of them got her neck broken. She had to be rushed to a local hospital. Then from there, they had to send her to high up to Duke or Chapel Hill somewhere. And she had one of those halos on there thing. Yeah, it was a big mess. They never found out from that day to this one. Then the other cousins, which was sister to the girl that got the neck broke, they said the reason why they didn't capture her, whoever did what they did to them, this one, she ran fast and ran to somebody's house and knocked on the door and got to safety and told somebody what was going on. That's how they found them. That's how the authorities found them. That's why I said we need to tell somebody where we going. So if we're not home by a certain time, well, she said she was going to Walmart. He said he was going to O'Reilly's and get a water pump and start back working on the car. But I don't know what happened. Well, maybe what they was going to do took a little long. Then the clock is ticking. The time is going. And you said, something ain't right. Because if they were going to stay the extra time, they would have called me. That's where we need to, that's why we need to let somebody know where we're going. And when they get a little grown, they'll say, I don't want nobody to know where I'm going all up in my business. Honey, the way this world is, it's too many people out there that don't like us. And y'all know who us is. They don't care anything about your well-being, so they just as soon as knock you in the head, they would old dog out there roaming the street. They'll probably treat the old dog better. Because they said, the dog need to be here. You don't need to be here. Hey, Boo Scoop. How you doing? Happy Thursday. Do you like telling people where you going? Because like I said, the world in such a state now. You know what? There are places that they don't care how they treat you. You don't want to be among people who treat you worse than they treat a dog out there in the street. Because to some people, your life don't mean nothing. And some people, the way they talk to you, treat you, they'll let you know that they don't give a flying flip about you. But the way I was raised, you treat people the way you want to be treated. If you want to treat somebody some kind of way, well, don't say anything when somebody else come along and treat you that same way. You curse me out. Don't get mad if you go out there with somebody and they curse you out down to a frazzle. Don't get mad. Because I always heard one good turn deserve another. But you know what? And they also said what goes around comes around. And you know what? We all, if we got a little maturity to us, we know what that means. You give somebody the business, then one day something or someone gonna come along and give you the business. You see about them 16 children on TV where the mama, daddy, grandma, everybody's in jail. They found those 16 children in a 12 by 12 room from 18 months old to 18-year-old. They said the 18-year-old didn't even know her, couldn't even write her name. The children had never been signed up for school. They never been in school. And they was living in filth. Feces and everything all on the floor. The house looked terrible. All the trash was in the floor. They didn't clean up. The grandma said, I'm the one that take care of everyone. But she shouldn't have never said that because she might be getting the brunt of everything because the way the house was. If you're the one taking care of everything, why can these children in a room with human feces all over the floor? Animal feces on the floor. Animal urine all on the floor. They say you can smell the house just by walking out in the street in front of the house. Y'all, you got babies, an 18-month-old. Can you imagine how that was for that child learning to walk? They crawling around, hand all in human and animal feces. Can you imagine? They had to airlift one child to a certain hospital. 2 or 3 of those children was, in the hospital for a few weeks. One of them, they had to airlift somewhere because they said if there had been another day getting there, that child would have been unalive. Who want that child living in nastiness and filth? That's what an animal do. An animal don't clean. Well, even a cat will lick that young off to make sure you know what I'm saying? So be that person that always got yourself, your thing, everything about you together. Even if you wear plaits and stuff like I got on mine, make sure it's neat. Be neat. You don't need a whole lot. Keep what you got clean. When God wants you to have something, he'll make a way for you to get it. There's a good thing come to those who wait. And I know the Lord got something good for me because you know what? I tell everybody, hey, Patricia, I tell people, I tell the Lord, if I hit the lottery, I don't want to do it for myself. I want to be able to help somebody else. You know what I mean, Patricia? To do something to help somebody else. I don't have it like that. What the Bible said, silver and gold, I have none, but such as I have, I give unto thee. So you don't, if you can only give a person a smile or a prayer, give that. But I would love to hit the lottery and be able to buy all my children and grandchildren a house and a car. First thing, the house. And all they got to do is pay the taxes. So, oh, you're welcome. I was glad to do it because you come to mine all the time. Like I said, one good turn deserves another. We were taught that growing up. So if I hit the lottery, the first thing I would do is I pay my tithes, give to the church. I will buy all my children and grandchildren a house. This way, when they grow up, they don't have to worry about anybody evicting them or saying, get out my house. So I thank God I never had to go through that. But, my mama used to say, and people would ask them, why are you helping this and why are you doing that? My mama used to say, because I don't know what's going to happen to my children when my head lay low. Because we ain't going to be here all the time. And you teach them things now where they can go about their daily lives day after day after day. Teach them how to make up their own bed. Teach them how to wash their own clothes. Teach them how to iron their own clothes. Teach them how to be a member of society that people don't mind being around. Because if you don't teach them, the world will teach them something you never want them to learn. The world will say, come here. I'm going to teach you how to do these drugs. I'm going to teach you how to steal. Take that's not yours, that you ain't paid money for. I would look, you know how you see those little skits on you can see them on Facebook, Mike can see them on Instagram. But this girl, she was a teenager. She wanted to go out with her friends. She asked her mama for some money. Her mama said, who you going with? And she named out her two friends she was going with. She said, yeah, your sister gonna go with you because I don't trust them two friends of yours. Yeah, oh mama, you don't have to worry about them. So before the evening was gone, the girl walks out the store, and you know they check the bag, and the greeter will say, I got to check your bag. So she asked for the receipt. She said, where the receipt to this gray tank top and something in there was orange, might have been a tank top. She said, that's not mine. Said her two friends walked by, the two friends that her mom and her sister said they give me bad vibes. And the girl said, that's not mine. Everything I bought is on this receipt. Well, she didn't have a receipt for the two things the greeter found in there. She said, well, the girl said, you'll see that I didn't have that. So they gave me this bag. Her friends had the bag and they gave her, you know, that's what they say, you left holding the bag. If you go somewhere with somebody, they hand you a bag to hold this bag, don't take it. Because it might be stolen something and some security look. So when she said, that's not mine, and she asked the other two girls, said, this stuff yours? And they said, no, that's yours. You the one got the bag. So the girl said, go look at the camera. They looked at the camera, sure enough. Those other two girls that had the bag had stole that stuff and put it in their bag. So, you know, I've always heard you're known for the company you keep. If you're out with somebody that's known for stealing and doing only God knows what, you can't say, I don't do the thing they do. Y'all hanging together. You think an apple gonna hang on a peach tree? No, ma'am. Are the watermelon gonna grow on the same vine with the sweet potato? No. Each kind keep to their own kind. You know what I'm saying? Now that don't mean you as a human can't mingle with somebody else. I'm just saying the strawberries and the blueberries, even though both of them are berries, they're not on the same vine. So we are known by the company we keep. If you're always with somebody that's stealing, and first thing, one thing my mama used to tell me, there's two things she would say. I think the main two things that she said she didn't want to be called was an unfit mother and a thief. She would say, yeah, birds of a feather flock together. She said, because if you were steal, you're likely to do anything. So, you know, I ain't want nobody to say, oh, there come on Corinne. All she gonna do is steal. She ain't gonna pay for nothing. So people watching you, you're like, why all eyes on me? Duh, because you steal everything you get your hands on. My brother that I told you that was very protected, he would steal. Yes, he would. Mama could say 5-finger discount. And he stole so much, he could not be in a place and people would say he the one that stole something. That's what I'm saying. You don't want to get the name of being that person that's always doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Oh, your money get misplaced. Are you looking your wallet, your money gone, you jumping and crying, oh, he stole my money. And a lot of times he would be the one that has stolen it. I ain't gonna lie. He's dead and gone. I don't have to lie for him. But anybody that knew my brother, that you give him half a chance, yeah, he was still, Mama would say he was still dependent from under a dead man's eye. And there was a show one time, this old cool thief named Alexander Monday. People start calling him Alexander Monday. Then he got to the point he cooled it off. You know, I think he did so much as a child. As he got older, I'm getting older now. I can't move like I could when I was a child. So, and he went to reform school. He went to jail, and yes, he did go to prison. Cause I know that was one of his regrets when our grandma died, the one we call Mammy. He was locked up, couldn't go to the funeral. So, and these are things that people's not gonna forget about you. If I call you up wanting to know, say I thought you can be home by X amount of time, and I need for you to do this, I need for you to do that, and then you go cursing and saying, "What you worry about where I am for? I'm minding my own business. Something y'all be doing. Oh, okay, hold on." But if you living in my house got rules. You want your own rules? Go get your own house. When I was 17, 18 years old, I was living in my aunt's house. And me and my friends went out, even when I called myself having a boyfriend. And you had to walk up those steps at my aunt's apartment to get to her apartment, right? Okay. When that boyfriend knocked on that door, my aunt would say, after said, "Where you taking my niece there? Where y'all going?" She was looking right there in his eyes. "Where y'all going?" He said, "Well, I'm going to stop by my cousin and his wife's house, and we might stay there for a while, and we probably go to the movies." A lot of times, I used to love when they would carry me to concerts. And my friends knew I loved Johnny Taylor, Marvin Gaye. Well, Marvin wasn't coming to town, but Johnny Taylor wasn't. For my birthday, I think it was like 1970 or 71. They carried me to a Johnny Taylor concert for my birthday. Honey, you could have knocked me over with a feather. And we had seats that was close to the front. I could look in Johnny's eyes. Yes, I could. Talking about an evening where I had real, now we didn't go, like my aunt would say, she would tell us, she said, like if I went and say I wasn't going with my boyfriend, yes, I told my boyfriend, "Well, we going to this place, this girls' night out. So he might go to his cousin's house and they sit and do whatever guys do. I don't know if they were watching sport or whatever, but whatever they done, they done. But a lot of time, I remember one night it had snowed. And wherever we was when we came out the subway, we didn't know it had snowed. So my boyfriend would drop me off. My aunt's apartment was on Nostrand Avenue between Atlantic and Pacific. So my boyfriend, he had to walk a few more blocks before he get to where his house is. So he would drop me off at my house, go with me upstairs. I turn the key. When I get in, he would say goodnight. He'd go downstairs. He lived on Prospect, which was a few blocks from Nostrand. And we didn't have no phone, so we didn't call each other and say, I made it home or whatever and everything. But, that's the nature of the thing. Doing things the way they need to be done. And so I knew this girl. She went to this club. Like my aunt would tell me when we would go somewhere. She said, "Don't you go to, Lord, it was a club that was, it was the older crowd going to the Fulton Terrace." Where, my aunt said, when we would go, she said, "Now don't y'all go to Fulton Terrace. Y'all, That's exactly where we ended up. Cause I'm younger. I was younger than the crowd I was hanging with by a few years. So they was able to get in without a problem. I wasn't, because I hadn't reached 21 yet. So I got my friend kicked out of so many places because I was, a few years younger than them. That's we can't go to so and so because Corrine ain't old enough to go in there and they serving alcohol. Well, so we end up at we would go to movies, we would go to concert, or we I'm gonna tell you a place I used to love to go now to a ballet. I love going to the ballet and live show. What they call it, a thespian or something like that. But I would love to go to those live theaters and stuff like that. I loved it. I love going to the ballet. I love going to. Y'all remember Tommy Tune? He played in the musical. I don't know what that musical was. What was it? I watched it on TV a couple of times. Let's see. Let me ask Google. Who was Tommy Tune?
Tommy Tune was a well-known American dancer, actor, singer, and theater director. He won 10 Tony Awards and is known as a giant of the Broadway stage, standing 6 feet 6 inches tall.
Tommy Tune was 6 feet 6 inches tall, man. Is Tommy Tune still living? His real name was Thomas James Tune. Well, that's him, all right. Have you ever heard of Tommy Tune? I love going to musicals. It was there was one musical that he's played in. He played Hello Dolly, yeah. There was one that he played in. Oh, I know who else I used to love. Pamela Ferdin. She was on the John Forsythe show. I thought she was the cutest little curly head. You know, the little girl on the Brady Bunch, the youngest one that had them curls. Pamela Ferdin had them curls like that. And my favorite, Shirley Temple. I got to look at my Shirley Temple collection and see which one I don't have so I can put it in my collection. And I want to get back, baby. Got an old Yorkie poo here. I want to go to the thrift store and find some Pippi Longstocking. And I used to ask my younger children, we would watch it together. We would watch Pippi Longstocking or Shirley Temple. And I had them, so if I asked them, where does Pippi Longstocking live? And they would say, what? It won't Gullah Gullah Island. It was, let me ask Google. I didn't ask them, so I don't know. Where does Pippi Longstocking live?
Pippi Longstocking lived in a house called Via Kula, as described in the books. The TV series used a real house in Nypen, on the island of Gotland in Sweden.
Pippi Longstocking lived on Villa Kula. Yes. I had my grandchildren program. I could ask them that and they would say, I got to find me a Pippi Longstocking. Oh, Patricia, I'm rattling on about stuff. You know when you reminisce and you can glide from point A to point B and keep it going, keep going. Because you and I along the way, we had learned things that this generation know nothing about. They don't know anything about the word improvise. You know, growing up, we had to do a lot of improvisation. They probably don't even know the word improvise. You know what I'm saying? That's why I want my great-grandson to learn to respect books. I want him to learn words that somebody else in the crowd might not even know. And then his vocabulary be way above his years. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got some imagination, imagination can take you a long way. Even if you are able to take a cruise, even if you're not able to take a cruise or go on vacation, read you a book and talk about somebody who's going to Jamaica or somebody who's going to, what is it? The Panama. I would love to go to Panama. I even told my husband I want to go to Vermont. I don't know what's in Vermont or what's going. That's right. You can, what that said, read a rainbow, take a look, it's in a book. I can get a book that tells me about Panama. I can watch it on YouTube or anywhere that tells me about Panama. Somebody that lives in Vermont that has made a YouTube video about Vermont. I said, Vermont got so and so and so. So I told my husband I want to go to Vermont. One day, every time I sing one day, I think about that song, John Legend. One day, when the war's won, it would be ours. It would be ours. Oh, one day. When the glory comes, yeah, the song is Glory. Oh, John Legend can sing the song. Oh, he don't want to, y'all. You want to go to New Mexico? Oh, me too. I would love, learn about places that you may not ever get to go, but you can say, they got thus and such in New Mexico. Another place I would love to go is New Hampshire. I would love to go to, people are always going to places like California, Florida, and stuff like that. I want to be able to say, I went to Vermont, and they're like, Vermont? Ain't nothing in Vermont. Where I'll be there when I get there. But that's how you broaden your horizon. We don't always have the money to be able to go here and do this and do that, but there's things you can do that will put your imagination in that place. And I think the way the world is doing that is taking imagination from children. Oh, let's pretend we're this place or that place. Yeah, let the little girl put on dresses and imagine they're princesses. Let them have something. Let the little boy that he wants to imagine that he's out there on this big rig or he's on this boat and he's doing this fishing, catching these big fish. They used to have a show where all they show were people fishing, and they were telling you what kind of fish they would pull up, and they would tell you about the area where this boat is going and everything like that. Don't take the hope from the children. Let them have imagination. Don't take that now. People used to say, so and so and so, the figment of my imagination. Yeah, but you got your imagination. And don't take a child's self-esteem. That's two things you shouldn't take. And don't take a man's self-worth from him. One of the worst things you can do is tell a man, you ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You ain't, when you tell a child stuff like that, that's it with them through life. But you can whisper in their ear and tell them they're going to be this and they're going to be that. I love taking a newborn baby and whispering in good things in their ear. And when I we got a set of twins at our church. And me and my husband has adopted these children. So these are now our grandchildren. Because we had told everybody that their mama is our goddaughter. So these two babies are our twins. They are our grand-twins now. So I was making them burp cloth and pacifier holes and stuff like that. So when the mom come to church, she'll tell people, take the babies over there to grandma and grandpa. I don't mind her and her children calling me grandma and grandpa. Because they might not have a grandparent around them. And that's one thing I enjoyed when I grew up, being able to go to my grandparents' house. Yes, being able to go to my grandparents' house, spending time with my. I would sit with my grandma, and she was peeling apples. I'm peeling apples. She's snapping beans. I'm snapping beans. Then she would say, "Oh, you can go on and play with your little friends." So we would go play. One thing we love to play with hopscotch. I don't think where everything is pavement now, so they don't have dirt they can draw a hopscotch in. But get a book. You don't know where a book can take you places. I don't know what I did with the remote. A book would take you a place.
That jacket that I thought it was
A book would take you a place that you never in your life imagined going. When LeVar Brent would bring on that show, Reading Rainbow, I don't even know if it come on anymore. Take a look. It's in a book, Reading Rainbow. Oh, I used to love letting the children watch Gullah Gullah Island. And I had some videotapes on that. But I think when the CDs came in, we threw all those tapes away. I'm hoping there was at least one saved. One of my granddaughters, she come there and she found some of my videotapes. She said, "Grandma, what you gonna do with that?" I said, "We gonna throw them away." She would grab them. She said, she put them over in the corner. She said, "These gonna be mine. I'm gonna come get these." Okay. So I got to remind her, if you don't come and get them next time you come, Grandpa might be. She said, "I'm gonna put them over here. Grandpa can't see them. He can't throw them away, cause he ain't gonna bend down and look under there. He sure ain't." So if you want to hide something from Grandpa, put it where you know he's not gonna bend to look for. Yeah, those days are long gone, y'all. People don't do things where a child got to use his imagination. Gladys Knight made a song, "I got to use my imagination." Ooh, my coffee has gotten cold, but it ain't but a drop to it now. But we need to learn to use our imagination. I have a book about. I told you I love Shirley Temple, right? So what I'm gonna have to do one day is Google Shirley Temple movies and see which one in the collection I don't have. Then I'm gonna make a note and put in my wallet that when I go to the thrift store, look for this Shirley Temple, look for that Shirley Temple. I have Pollyanna. My daughter getting some furniture. I keep my eyes open, y'all. Hold on a minute. Oh no. I have Pollyanna. I want to get those girls that switch places with one another. What? And they made it twice. What was it? I thought I would never forget that. Let me see. Let me Google it. It won't Freaky Friday. I remember what was the show where the twins they grew up separate from one another? Oh, wait a minute. I got to start again. What was the movie where these twins they grew up separate from one another and then they came back and switched places?
The movie you're thinking of is The Parent Trap. It's a family comedy about twin sisters who meet at summer camp, switch places, and then try to reunite their parents.
Okay, yes. The 1961 version. Hayley Mills. I used to love Hayley Mills. Yeah, The Parent Trap. That's it. Hayley Mills played both of them, Susan and Sharon. Then they swapped places and went with the other parent back and forth, Then they made it in 1998. Lindsay Lohan played Haley Parker and Annie James. One twin lives in California and the other live in London. Yes. I love those old movies like that, y'all. the shows back then, Shirley Temple and this movie, The Parent Trap, and all that, they had structure. You know, it wasn't like the movie now, everybody loose, doing this, doing that. But these were wholesome pictures where anybody can watch. You didn't worry about nobody throwing off an F-bomb or saying, you know, F you and all that kind of stuff. But this was clean, wholesome movies. Now they may have some like that now, but you'll never know. The show had a real life. It did, yeah. And that's the same thing about the music from back in the day. The music was going, there was a message in the music. Like I was talking yesterday, you know, when I was cleaning Saturday, I was putting on some old school Motown. And I love listening to the Marvelettes. I guess because their name got Marv in it, like Marvin Gaye, right? So I would listen to the Marvelettes, Beachwood 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. I listened to Hunter Get Captured by the Gang. But that one, the Hunter Get Captured by the Gang, I kept listening to that over and over again. I said, what is she saying? And she was saying that she was trying to trap this boy to make him be her boyfriend. So she was trying to get it so he would fall in her trap. But she fell in the trap. You know, she said, the hunter get captured by, she was playing this game, but she got mixed up in the web of the stuff she was doing. She said, things are so rearranged and this world seems like a new place. That's the way it is now. Things are so rearranged these days, this old world seems like a new place. And then I listened to Martha and the Vandellas, Jimmy Mack. Now that was one record I remember going to the record store buying. Because at that time I was liking a young man, his name was Jimmy. But we ain't going no further with that story. But in that I never did get a date with that Jimmy. But I and the way things turned, I'm so glad I did. Lord, I thank you for your protection and the strength to go on with life as I know it. Anyway, she was saying, in Jimmy Mack, when are you coming back? That was her boyfriend. Her boyfriend had went somewhere, but this other boy came to town. He was all smooth and a nice dress and everything. She said, but, you know, Jimmy, come on back. She said, because this guy, he talked just as sweet as you. And she was saying, she said, Jimmy, my arms are missing you. And when you coming back? Because this boy that's coming around town, he talked just as sweet as you. So what she was saying, this new fella came to town, you getting ready to be a figment of my imagination. You getting ready to be pushed in the back of my memory bank. Because this old guy, he dressed nice, he suave, got this swag. I ain't mad if she talking about somebody. I'm seeing President Obama in my, you know, she's visualizing somebody that, you know, got this little thing about him, this little walk and everything. You said, Jimmy Mack, you better come on back to town because, hey, you got Tommy Tune over here that's all smooth and got this swag. And he done winked at me one time too many. You know what I mean? He like, you know, hey, baby, what you doing tonight? There's a new movie. You know, Jimmy Cagney is in a new movie, would you? And I heard people said that's a good movie. Yeah, I heard that too. But I got a boyfriend. But he ain't here. So, you know, let me take you to the movie. He come pick you up. He got this nice ride. He being a gentleman. He's opening the door for you. And ladies, learn how to sit in a car. Don't put your head in there and then your behind sticking out the door. We need to teach the young ladies how to be a young lady. Because the more you be a young lady, the more respect that you show for yourself, the more respect you're going to get from other people. when I was growing up, that's one thing my grandma and my aunties would always tell us: wherever you go, be a lady. Don't be all loud and talking and cursing and doing all that stuff, and people looking at you. You're the loudest one in here. If we go somewhere and we loud like that and get back to our mom and grandma, you ain't got to worry about going nowhere next weekend because they ain't going to let you because they said you don't know how to act. They ever told, Patricia, wasn't it like that when you grew up? Mama said, if you don't know how to act, if you don't know how to act when you go out, when it's time for, the young people go again, that's right. You got to respect, safe singer, that's right. Respect yourself. I'll tell you, those songs had a message in it. You don't go out cursing around. You don't care who there, grandma, grandpa, whoever, you cursing and everything. No. Don't, I had a cousin that they had this little juke back then. We call them juke joints. You know what I said? Because they had what we call a piccolo, a jukebox. So you would need to have your little, I think a quarter would get you like 3 songs. Sometimes they would bump the piccolo and make it do a certain thing and all like that. First thing they would say, don't you be bumping my piccolo, because it's going to make the record skip. That's right. That's right. And a lot of time on the weekend, my grandma would let us go, and the name was the Stardust Inn. But they were saying it so fast, we didn't know what. All we know was Start a Scent. I thought they were saying Start a Scent. I was a grown woman when I realized they were saying the Stardust Inn. But back then, when they said something, they ran all the words together. You didn't know what they were saying. So we would ask her, they had a certain day they would let us go. They might let us go Friday because at a certain time when they knew the crowd would be more relaxed. Because they serve alcohol. There can always be somebody there getting drunk, cursing, and they didn't want us to be around that. You can go if some of the boys are going, they would tell us, girl. And I had a whole bunch of brothers and male cousins. One cousin, God rest his soul, hand jab, you could drop a quarter through his class ring, and they would tell the girl, you could go if hand jab and Rocky Lee is gone. Or me and my older brother, James, the one we call Pete, and Dennis, the one we call Fruitcake. If they going, you can go. And it was close, we could walk there. We didn't need a car to go. Because you could walk down the road. Yeah, and the grass was sometimes the state hadn't cut the grass, and you trying to walk high, making sure you don't step on a snake. So if there was no cars coming, you walk on the edge of the road. And grandma might stand there while we walking down there. And sometimes you walking on the edge of the road, she'll holler out, get your ass out that highway. She sure would. And if you didn't, she would tell you, turn your ass around, come back to this house, because you ain't going no anywhere. So we made sure we was on our P's and Q's. Whatever they told us not to do, we made, and we would remind the others, they said for us not to do this. They said there might be one that said, they at home, they don't know what we're doing. Yeah, but we know. So to keep me from getting a whipping, to remind you that we ain't supposed to be doing this, because if you done this, somebody else know you done it, and you didn't remind them they ain't supposed to do it, you got a whipping too. Yes. They wear your hand pots out. They didn't care if you old enough to go to a juke joint. They get that belt. My daddy had a special belt he used to wear us out. Granddaddy had a special belt too. You learn how to act when you got out in public. Yes, you did. There wasn't any half stepping. Then you won't get out there. They say you don't get out there do any and everything. You represent me. We sure did. But anyway, that's the way of the world. That's why we need to get back to these old time ways. They say, oh, that's what old folks done. Well, we didn't get this age by going out being stupid. And let me tell you something. I never drank or I never smoked. I'm gonna tell you what I love to do. I've always loved music. I don't care what genre the music. Yes, we did. We knew we had to follow those rules if you want to go again the next time. And they didn't let us go every week either. We won't try it out there and go to my cousin's club every weekend. No, you won't. And a lot of time, all we had was that quarter pulling that piccolo to play our favorite song. I remember we would work during the summer, chopping in the fields to save us some little money to buy us some school clothes or whatever we might need or whatever. So, and I remember having on this dress that I had bought. It was two dresses I remember during the summer. One of them was a white shift dress, and down before you get to, because it was about, I love watching that show, That Girl, because the way she dressed is exactly the way I dress. Those color block dresses, the little dresses with the little dusters, the little plaid skirts, the different color tights, of you wore something hair white, you wore your white pantyhose. Well, I remember having this dress. I remember it was red, blue, and white. And the lines were going vertical, and the lines were big. Now they say, don't get a vertical line going around your hips because it's going to make your hip look vertical. If you got larger hips, like, I always had a lot of hips. You want your stripes going vertical and not horizontal. And that dress, the stripes were going horizontal. Well, then I was like a size 5, so I didn't care if my stripe was horizontal, right? It would have a big blue stripe, and the background was white. So the next stripe gonna be white. Then it would have a big red stripe. And I remember we got those dresses from the Evans Company in Murfreesboro, North Carolina, because he carried the latest clothes back then. He had a department store with an upstairs where they would buy, my mom and grandma would go and buy the fabric. Because some of the stuff we wore, our mom and grandpa and grandma made it. And I remember having on that dress, my little white stockings, or either white tights, and a pair of white shoes. That's another thing. Don't put on black stockings with white shoes. That is a fashion faux pas. Maybe I need to do a video on certain things that's frowned upon. Don't put on silver shoes with black stocking, y'all. Come on now. They're saying, used to be a thing after Labor Day, you didn't wear white. Now they say you wear white anytime. If it's snow on the ground, you want to strike out with white. I still cannot. I was brought up, you didn't wear white after Labor Day. So now I find myself all during the summer, unless we having communion at church, I don't put on white to wear church. And I know I got 3-4 white dresses that don't get any play. But those fashion faux pas, and I think when I was going to Ophelia DeVoe School of Charm and they were teaching us certain things, it got grounded in us. These are some of the same things that mom and grandma told us, that you don't do. You go in the room and there's people in there, you speak. Or you walk in somebody's house and you don't speak. That's a no-no. Hey, how you doing? It ain't gonna kill you to say hello. Even if you first meet somebody. Hello, I'm so-and-so and so. And that person you introduce somebody to somebody else. Introduce the young person to the old person or vice versa. there's a whole lot of things this generation don't do. That if we didn't do it, it was frowned upon for us not to do it. You better not go nowhere nobody didn't know where you were or where you expected to be found. Because my mama told me, you always want to let somebody know where you going, so if something happened, they know where to go exactly and put their finger on you. We did not walk out that house and like me and I was telling you about my BFF that I've been had ever since elementary school. Well, my family would move, and I was a little further from her, but we was in walking distance, still walking distance to each other's house. So it was 4 or 5 of us girls. One of my friends, she had a whole bunch of sisters, but some of her older sister had already graduated, left town, got married or whatever. But those of us, we would walk to each other's house, especially like on Sunday evening after church. We would walk to each other's house, and you might see 3 or 4 us girls walking down the road, and we talking to each other. We might be talking about boys. We might be talking about the latest music. We might be talking about what's going on at school and stuff like that. But we were always having that friendly conversation. So when we walk one another home, the other person said, I'm going to walk you halfway. I'm trying to figure out how we ever got home. We were walking the other person halfway. So then we had to turn around and walk halfway back home by ourselves. What, So it was just fun times. I talked to my BFF. We'll call, if we go, it's rare for us to go a month or two and don't talk for one another. And we might say, I was thinking about you and I decided to call you. And then we'll tell each other things we going through or things we doing or what, catching up with one another, because our families always knew each other. Her parents knew my parents. Her sisters and brother knew my sisters and brother. Her sisters and brother was a little older than my sisters and brother, but I really knew her younger. I think she's the youngest girl in the family, so I knew her younger brother more than I did her older sister. I knew her older sisters by name when I saw them, but that's about the most I knew. I knew who her family was and stuff like that, and she knew my family. So we always had that rapport about one another. And okay, see you next time. I'm going to get off in a few minutes. It's almost been 2 hours. I'm going to get up and make myself useful. But, that's what I'm saying, having your priorities in line. Because if you did, you want people to know if I done A, the next thing I'm going to do is B. I want to always be socially correct, even if that is the thing. But don't be half-stepping there. Let me see what time it is. I might watch some Tommy Tune. There was a Broadway show that, was it Tommy Tune? Yeah. But anyway, y'all, let's keep our head on straight and know what we're doing. And ladies, I'm going to say it again. When you getting in the car, don't stick your head in and your butt sticking out there in the air. What you do, you turn towards that seat and you put your butt, B-U-T-T, on the seat. Then you turn your legs around and you reach for that seat belt and you snap it, okay? Please. There's a lady on YouTube. Her YouTube name is San Faye, and she do reaction. She be like, Shout out to San Faye. And she giving it to you straight. She ain't half stepping. She giving it to you straight. I'm gonna tell you somebody else give it to you straight. Tabitha from Tabitha Does Politics. Tabitha Speaks Politics. She gonna give it to you straight. They don't sugarcoat nothing. Tabitha or Sam Thay, they don't sugarcoat. So there you have it. A few more minutes, I'll be on 2 hours. But anyway, conduct your life where people don't mind seeing you come around, you know. You don't want, like I said with my brother, I don't get me wrong, I love my brother, but I didn't love the things he do. And that's the way, you know, people can love you, but not love the things you do. We all love my brother, but we didn't like to hear people, oh, he just steal all the time. And we know he was at, we call him, we got so, like I said, mentioned by Alexander Monday. Let me see who played Alexander Monday. Alexander Monday. Let me see you. Who played Alexander Monday?
Alexander Mundy, sometimes mistakenly written as Monday, was portrayed by actor Robert Wagner in the 1968 TV series It Takes a Thief.
It was M-U-N-D-Y, but they mistyped it as, they said people misheard as M-O-N-D-A-Y. Robert Wagner. I might have to go back to some of that. Oh, he was very handsome, y'all. He was one handsome leading man. Is he still with us? How he going on to meet his maker? He was married to Jill St. John. Yeah, look like he's still on this side of the earth. Did he ever play in a cowboy? Did Robert Wagner ever play in a Western?
Yes, Robert Wagner did act in some Westerns, particularly in the 1950s.
Yeah.
He starred as Joe Devereaux in the 1954 film Broken Lance.
I'm gonna have to look for that, cause I never knew about that. I heard some more. Spencer, he starred with Spencer Tracy, Robert Wagner, Gun Fury, A Day of Fear. I'm gonna have to look for these. Y'all know I love Westerns, right? Y'all heard me say Rawhide is my favorite, and then Chuck Connors, the rifleman. When it first come on, and he, and then he poo 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 poo, and he throw those eyes around. That was my favorite part. But he and his son Mark, yes, wholesome pictures, yes. I don't know nothing about up-to-date stuff, but y'all can ask me questions about the old stuff. If I know, I will let you know. Now, I don't know all that stuff, but there is some things that I know. I do know that I love Westerns, and I love pictures like the Donna Reed Show, That Girl, Mary Tyler Moore comedies. And I love Red Skelton. Red Skelton was funny without all this profanity like Eddie Murphy and all these other ones. If you watch Red Skelton, you go watch some clean, wholesome comedy. Lord, I done sat here during write something and started to write Red Skelton on my paper. That's what you call one-track man, ain't it? But yeah, I might look for some of that. I'm gonna get up and make a move. 6 more minutes, be 2 hours, my way let it roll. Cause I'm trying to get money. I don't know what nobody else is trying to do. Yeah, I might heat up this little dab of coffee and drink. I stuck my mouth to it. It was cold. But yeah. Keep your head on straight. Do things that people expect of you. Don't do things that people don't expect of you. Live your life in a way where people can depend on you. If you tell somebody you can do something, do it. And respect yourself. Respect yourself. I never got in a fight. You know, we had play fight out there at my grandma's house. So many grandchildren out there. Somebody's gonna get on somebody's nerve, but we didn't, do a long drawn out fight where you doing this. No, we would play fight and everything like that, and then just sit down and just laugh. And what was so funny about it, I have no idea. I never struck or struck at any of my aunties, my grandparents, my mama and daddy. Cause first thing, I ain't gonna do it, I ain't gonna let nobody else do it. Just like I said, the males in the family were very protective over the female. I never got in fights with any of my brothers or my sisters. I never done that. Cause first thing, mom and daddy would have checked us if she knew that we were fighting one another. And y'all, I've said this before. When my mom died a few years ago, she was 96 years old. I never disrespected her or my father or my grandparents or anybody. And my mama had a heavy hand. I would rather for her get that switch on me than to hit me with her hand. My mama had some big hand. My granddaddy, my mama's daddy, his hand looked like a baseball mitt. Mama had big hands. She was heavy handed. And she ever tell you she gonna hit you, forget it. She gonna almost knock you out. And all of us were small, so you ain't wanting to get a licking from mama. Cause if she forgets, she'll say, You do something. She said, When I get you, I'm gonna get you for old and new. That meant if you done something she didn't correct you on it, you gonna get corrected for two things in this one thrashing. And we knew what that meant, so we were making sure we were extra good. Oh, I would get out there because I always tend to my younger brother and sister. I made sure the baby had won't out playing around with a soiled diaper on. I made sure my baby sister, baby brother, whoever had on clean clothes. And back then we had a Ringer washing machine. If mama was washing, I made sure I helped do the clothes and hung them on the line and stuff like that. And we had chores. Now, children don't have chores. And they don't know how to do nothing. You ask them about something we learned in high school, what's that? The children don't know. Y'all teach these young people how to wash dishes. Teach them how to wash their own clothes. Teach them to be self-sufficient. Not just lay around and do nothing. You buy them a game, and if you buy these children a game, you just bought yourself somebody that ain't gonna do a darn thing around that house. All they're gonna do is sit and play on the game. You don't get nothing out of it. And then when you do, they're gonna act like you shouldn't ask them to do anything. Or they think they're supposed to live in the house and don't do a darn thing. Get up, put their clothes on, fill their stomach up with whatever food in the kitchen, and say, I'm gone. A lot of times they won't say I'm gone because they say they don't want you to know where they're going because they say you tending to their business. I tell you what, when I left home, I got to be my 18, 19 years old. I better tell mama or my aunt somebody where I'm going, even an older sibling. Tell mama I'm going down here to Marion's house. Okay? Tell mama I'm going to Thelma's house. We're going to sit and listen to some records. And we would sit and listen to records, pop our fingers, thinking we knew how to do the latest dance when, in essence, we didn't. We might sit and eat some cookies or something or whatever. Most time we just sit and listen to music. Did you hear in the song they said this and they said that, they said I'ma love you and I'ma this and I'ma that. Yeah, I heard it, girl. Or we might see one another say, did you hear the latest song by Martha and the Vandellas, Dancing in the Street? I'm going to the record shop today because the records were like 99 cents. So I got 99 cents. I'm going to buy that record. So a lot of time we would save money so we could buy a favorite record. And that's what we did in our off time, you know. And we'll sit a lot of time, talk about the cute boys and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure girls do that now, but they don't sit and listen to music. All you got to do is turn to it on YouTube, but all the music there is rapping. I wouldn't give my left toenail for rapping. No, but we had Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, The Temptation, Wilson Pickett, Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle and the Bluebell, Gladys Knight and the Pips. Yeah, we had those people like that. Stevie Wonder, oh yes, Stevie Wonder. Tyrone Davis, Solomon Burke, the blues singer. Mama and them would love the blues. You got me peeping, you got me hiding, you got me running, peeping, hiding. Tell me what you want me to do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was Jimmy Reed. You got me doing what you want. Baby, what you want me to do. Yeah, my mama them loved them. Sugar Pie DeSantos, them blues singers. ZZ Hill, all them folks like that. Yes, sir. And then my daddy used to love those Mom Mabley, Pigmeat Markham, those comedians like that. And it'd be on a record. And they would sit back and listen to those jokes. Half of the time they weren't really funny. But you know, they were doing things they loved to do. They were home listening to it on a record player. We might not have money for a lot of things, but hey, we had those records. I had my 45s. Anyway, people just show love. You know, the world had gotten away. I think the world push more hate now than they do love. Let's love one another. Let's show one another we care about them. We care what happened to them. You know what? Like I said, I never talk ugly to my mom or my grandma, because first thing she would not, you know what out of me, and daddy would too. And then if daddy heard we done something like that, and daddy heard or any older person had heard, even my grandparents heard that you said something like that to your mama or somebody like that, they get you. So you didn't just get from mama. Whoever else heard that you done will wear your hand parts out when they saw you too. So you might get 2 or 3 thrashing for that one thing. Think I would go somewhere and disrespect my mama. You, like they said, you don't go and spit on nobody's grave. You don't disrespect mama, because that's a fighting piece there. Somebody out there in the street, one of your friends disrespect your mom, every male in the family is going to whip his tail so bad he won't show his face because his eyes going to be swollen for weeks. Sure would. And then you got to think about, the Bible tells us to honor our father and our mother. And your days going to be long. When you disrespect your elders or your mom and daddy, you taking some time off your life. But what you can do, you can go to God and repent to the Lord. And go to that person, I'm so sorry I said thus and such. I don't know where my head was at that particular time, but will you forgive me? Yeah, sometimes we got to ask for, you know what? I was taught you will ask for forgiveness Even if you know or think you didn't do anything, because if you said something and that person took it wrong, and you wonder why that person don't speak to you in a certain way, it's because you said something and they took it, you meant for it to be this way, but they took it another way. So now you got tension between you two, and you don't know what's up about that. But always be a person that repents. Whether you feel you done anything wrong or not, always have a repentant spirit. You'll go far. Because like I always say, I didn't get this far by being stupid. I say all the time, Mama might have raised the fool, but it sure won't me. And you know what? Don't let little Johnny come and try to sweet talk you. You want to be my girlfriend? You know, back in the day, you would write this note. You want to be my girlfriend? Mark yes or no. You remember somebody passing a paper like that around in high school and put up their no, and then sit and laugh. Ha 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 ha. You asked me to be your girlfriend, I told you no. Oh, and then you telling everybody, then everybody laughing at this person, shaming him and everything, and then he walk around with his head hung down. Don't do that. Don't take a person's self-esteem or their self-worth. Don't do that. And take care of yourself. Get out, get you a job, and buy your own stuff. Buy your own car. So somebody can say, you better not move that car. But if it's yours, you move and carry anywhere you want to, but you got to keep the taxes. If you got a payment on, you got to pay your car note. You got to have the government say you got to have a license, and you got to have insurance. So but get your own stuff. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that get your own. When I never got the chance to live on my own, because I'm always living with somebody, but me and my girlfriend, when I was in New York, we got an apartment together, and I moved out I can't say I never lived on my own, cause when me and my girlfriend got a place together, and I felt so funny walking in the house, and my aunt wasn't there. I'm like, I sure do miss Aunt Ada. Aunt Ada had a mouth too. My aunt had a mouth. She gonna let you know what's up, what's down, what's sideways, and everything. Now she has dementia, or the onset of it, and her daughter's watching her. I haven't seen her in a while, but I'm gonna have to go see her. And she loved Aretha Franklin's Spanish Harlem. We getting ready to go to work. We worked on Wall Street. She always had a console stereo too. But I think she had the one that had the little splinter leg that sit up and look like a suitcase. And she would put Aretha Franklin on every morning, and I wake up to la 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 la. There's a roses like in Spanish Harlem. Irene, that's the word to it. And y'all listen to Aretha Franklin's Spanish Harlem. I think I got that 45 at home. Because one day I was thinking about it. I said, I got this record in here. And I went and found it and played it. My aunt plays Spanish Harlem every morning. We get ready to go to work. I think when a record plays so long and it going through them grooves, sometimes it would be turning white. It would turn white. And you know the label coming out. And you know that was a record that got a lot of play. Can you imagine how that one looked? But we had a good time. We went to parties. No one fighting. No one doing a whole lot of drinking. Nobody cussing and doing, all kinds of ungodly stuff. And don't let your name be in people's mouths. That means somebody always talking about you, especially if they're talking about you in a bad light. But if you go somewhere and have good, clean fun, don't be the gal that you going from arm to arm. Don't be there, cause you know there's a name for that. Don't go out and be the girl that's on this one arm this weekend, on that one arm next weekend. You're gonna get you a beau that you and him want to spend time together. Let that be your Jody. But you know they said, ain't no sense in going home because Jody got your gal and gone. That was Johnny Taylor. Ain't no sense in going home. Jody's got your gal and gone. So don't let Jody come get your gal. You know, Jody is a male and a female name. So don't let the female Jody come and get your gal and gone. So the other girl made a song about cleanup woman. She get all the ones that we love and leave. She get everybody leftovers. She said, the reason I know because she got a man of mine. And she said, jumping and quit. Ain't that's the word. All she was doing was making it easy for the cleanup woman. So, you know, but let me tell you something. If you get that one and it stick, and don't care what y'all go through, y'all sticking to it together. Sometimes the string get a little thin, but next thing you know, that string is winding back up. That strength is coming to that situation all over again. Yeah, I had fun when I was a teenager, but I've always loved to have that clean fun. I didn't want to be that one where there go old stuck up Corinne. I never act stuck up. Sometimes I wanted to act stuck up. Sometimes there's a time to act stuck up. But I ain't disrespect nobody. I ain't call nobody no name. And I always, honey, let me tell you something. Always have a job so you can have your own money. So if somebody said, go to this place, you got money and you're able to get there. I've always, from the time I was old enough to work, even if it was babysitting, I earned my class ring by babysitting for our neighbor. When she and her husband go somewhere, I know her two little boys, I had to watch them. I see them now, they grown men. I saw the baby one day. I said, oh, there go my baby Chad. And they had nicknames. Back in the day, everybody had a nickname. And I had to see him give me a hug. I hadn't seen him since dog was a puppy. But yeah, I would keep me, I always try to keep me a little bit of money in my pocket, honey. If I want to go and buy a record, I had my money I can buy. And I won't beg it and I won't steal it either. I would babysit. If we could chop in the field, I would chop. If somebody, like my daddy, I was the oldest grandchild in my daddy's family. So on my grandparents on that side, whatever I told them I want, honey, I got. And I know if I went over there, I didn't have to do nothing. Grandma did everything. I had a little stereo, a little record player there. I had records there just like I had at home. Me and my girlfriends get together and they come over. They come over to grandma's house where I was. We listen to records. I go to their house and we sit and listen to records. And talked about boys, talked about the TV shows and stuff like that. And I love sitting with my grandpa and some of my other cousins and watch westerns. Granddaddy Isaac, my mama's daddy, he loved Gunsmoke. That was his show. And the children, we sat right down, the TV here, the children sitting down on the floor. Granddad was in his chair, but you might have some children that were leaning on the side of his chair, or one might go sit in his lap, but the rest of us sitting on the floor. Now, we didn't sit on the floor, we sat on the floor. That's the way it was. We sat on the floor. But y'all, those memories are priceless. Those memories I remember when I got my first little sewing machine for Christmas and it cranked. Oh, y'all, you could have bought me for a dime. I was so happy. Yeah, I remember and I think it was a Singer. It was, Lord, if I had that thing, that'd be worth a fortune, wouldn't it? But yeah, those were the good old days. People throwing stuff like that. Now they're not even teaching children how to write in cursive these days. But that's for another video. I'm going to write that down. Talk about things like cursive. But I'm going to get ready to go. I can't even. I take a medication that causes my hand to jerk when I'm writing and doing stuff. And I don't know what, sometimes my words don't turn out what. I'll get it. But y'all go to Dollar Tree. You know how you need whiteout? And you get the one in the little jar with the little brush that after a while it cakes up and get hard. I got this from Dollar Tree. And all you do is sound like, you know, you can get the nail polish with the little ball in there to keep it stirred and mash it. That little area right there is for you to press. It's like where your hand can, and then next thing you know, it's coming out. So there you go. But yeah, I hope I said something somebody could take to heart. But we're going to keep our priorities together. The girl's going to go out acting like a lady. Because if you don't been tossed around, ain't no upstanding guy or man gonna want you. They're gonna send you flying back out there to where your reputation done got all messed up. So be a lady at all times. So when you go walk down that aisle, you can hold your head up and, you know, carry yourself with dignity so you can get respect from the people you're around. Keep your priorities together. And keep your private. You know what I'm saying? Teach the little girls to keep their private. You know, teach them what to do if these things happen, which we hope and pray these things don't happen. But the world has gotten in such a way, so much stuff is tossed all around. Yeah. But that's for another video. All right. Please like, share, and comment, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Have a blessed day. Have a great day. Oh, wait a minute. I always type on here, have a great day too. Wait a minute now. I got to put up some Walmart links today. I haven't been putting up many links, so I'm behind on that. I will catch y'all later. All right, y'all. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bam. Today is the 20th. How many views we got?